So, welcome back to part 2 of step 4 for the Pokeball modeling tutorial. So, I realized in the last part I made a mistake. Now this is a 5-sided shape that we want to kind of get rid of, but we don't need to target weld to do that. What we can do is just make another cut, like we have done over here. Just cut across from this vertex to this vertex. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I didn't mention before, but the cut tool is very particular. When you hover over a polygon, for example, the cursor turns to a bigger square. When you hover over an edge, the cursor turns to a line or an edge. And when you hover over a vertex, the cursor turns to a small square. So that's there to help you know what you're hovering over and make sure that you select the right thing. So I'm going to hover over this vertex here, click, and then I'm going to hover over that vertex there, click, and then I'm going to right click to turn that off, and right click again to completely turn off the cut tool. So the vertices that we want to target weld are any of these vertices that are just hanging out here and seem to have no edge that goes down into our buttonhole. So we're going to be getting rid of those. Target weld is similar to weld, but you just have a bit more of a manual experience where you have all the control. It's not an automated kind of press a button and it's done. So target weld can be found underneath weld. Just click that there. If you're using the visual options at the top, it's this one here, target weld, and we want to start to get rid of any of these floating vertices. So you click the vertex you want to target weld, and then you click where you want it to send it, and that will weld it to that destination. So now that's gone, this has become a quad. So we can do that over here again. Click there, and that does that, and we're just going to send this one over here as well. So we've got a triangle there, but that's fine. Then we are going to send this way. And again, try and keep things symmetrical in the way you work, just for simplicity. So over this side, on the other side, I believe we did something like this. Click this one, target weld it here, and then we click this one and target weld it there. Yep. So on the other side, we sent this one down. So I'm going to target weld that there, and we've got another vertex here that we want to target weld here. We've got another vertex here that we want to target weld here. Now this is just cleaning up your mesh, making sure you're not going to have any problems later on, and just giving us more quads really, which is always helpful. Target weld there. Right. So now it looks like all of that should be cleaned up, and you should have something that looks like this. Now it might not look exactly like this, and don't be alarmed. As long as you don't have any of these floating vertices that don't go down into the hole with an edge, you should be all good. And to turn target weld off, we just need to click it again. So that is the end of step 4 part 2. Okay, so this is where we've left our Pokeball. Now you'll notice we have kind of lost our middle strip, where we're going to make that indent in our Pokeball, and that's here along this line. It's kind of got got squashed a little bit in the process of sorting out our circle. So what we're going to do is, in vertex mode of your editable poly, I want you to select, be careful of moving them, that can happen sometimes. When you're selecting stuff, just press Q on your keyboard and that will hide your gizmos so you don't affect your model whilst you're selecting. But we just want to select these vertices. I'm holding down control and clicking at the same time to increase my selection, and then from there we want to move them up just to straighten out where this strip is going to be. Now we could just move them up like this, but you can also use constraints over here, and this will make sure that the vertices don't move away from whatever you select. So you've got normals, you've got faces, and you've got edges. So in this case we're going to use the edges. Make sure it stays on the edges as we move that up to get a sort of straight line. And now we want to do the same thing for the bottom four. I'm going to press Q again, select these vertices, and then you want to move these down. So that's straightened that out. This is probably what your Pokeball might look like, or how it looks in a Word document. Don't worry about that, we will get into fixing that. So when you're using the move tool just to move vertices, I recommend that you use the constraints so that you don't damage your model too much. Constrain it to the edge. When you're just trying to fix an issue like this where the bottom vertex here is a little bit too far in, we can turn constraints off and we can use our scale tool to kind of eyeball it and get it back to where it should be. If you want a better view of this, you can actually press U on your keyboard and go into orthographic mode, where we can definitely see if things are all lined up or not. So just line that up there. There we go. And then we'll press P to go back into perspective mode. So perfect, our strip is back to being straight, but we just need to add a bit more of a curve to our buttonhole in the middle of our Pokeball. So the way we're going to do that is going to add some vertices here and here so that we can scale them and use the move tool and edge constraints to get them into a circular position. Now the way we're going to do this is we're going to use a handy tool called Swift Loop. So if you're using the visuals up here, you can find it up here, Swift Loop. That's what it looks like. If you're looking over here, you'll probably have to scroll down. There's quick slice, there's cut. Right, maybe Swift Loop's not down here. So make sure to have your visual bar available or open. Right, so we can come here and we can add a cut down the middle of this. So I'm just going to go back into orthographic mode to make sure I'm doing this in the center as much as I possibly can. And just click, and then again right click to turn it off, and that's made a line all the way around our model in the center of our middle strip. So now we can select these vertices. Let's press Q again. And we can now attempt to bring some curve back to our circle. So I'm just going to scale that ever so slightly. Like that. Maybe I'll move these out as well. Just a tad. So from the front again. Our scale tool. Just like that. And there we go. So we sorted out our circle, we sorted out our middle strip that we're going to use to be the kind of center line of the Pokeball. So I believe at this point we can go on to step 5. So once we've done all of step 1s to 4, we can start to select the polygons around the sphere and get ready to extrude them. Now, because we're going to be extruding inwards negatively, we want to click on polygon mode here. We want to get rid of these two, because as soon as we push this down to the level of the circle, so as soon as we push it down to this level, these two will be sticking out like sore thumbs. So we want to get rid of these, delete that, and just press the delete button. And the same on the other side. We'll delete that and delete that. Then we're going to select that middle section. Now, easiest way to do that, instead of clicking and control clicking like this, just drag a box and select. So I'm going to click, drag a box across and select all of that section, does it all the way around, and then we can hold down Alt to deselect this middle section here. So then we are going to extrude. So you can find extrude over here in your editable poly modifier. Again, we don't want to just click extrude, we want to click on the settings so that we've got full control over it. There's different ways of extruding. Right now we want to do local normal, because that's going to push it out or in. And based on the guide, it looks like we want to give it an extrusion height of minus 2.1 centimeters. So I'm just going to type that in here, minus 2.1 centimeters. And then we're going to leave the bias as it is, press apply, and press OK. So we still have got some edges that we want to probably get rid of. So I'm just going to go in and delete these. And I'm going to delete these here. And then what we want to do is we want to connect these to our circle in the middle. So we're going to do that by using target world. Now it can be a bit difficult to see what's going on here. See, we've got some more edges that we actually need to get rid of here. And probably on this side as well. Yep. So now what we want to do is we want to go back to our vertex mode, and we want to connect this vertex to this one here. So we're going to target world that, and we will target world this one here in the middle, and we'll do the same for this one here. Now sometimes you can't very clearly see where you're trying to target weld it to, so I think it's best to hold down Alt X so we can get a see-through view and get a better angle. So we're trying to target weld this to here. I'm going to bring that back into there. It doesn't like that, so I'm going to bring this to here. Don't like that either. Right, I'm going to go back because I think I pressed something when I extruded that. Did not go down well. That's where we want it to be. So let's go back to this point where we deleted these. We're going to go to our polygon mode. We've got the selection still here, and this is why it's good to have as many undos as you can, because you never know when you're going to make a mistake. And we're going to extrude again by -2. Instead of pressing apply, we're just going to press OK. I think, yeah, that's what messed it up. Then we're going to delete these extra polygons that it has made. Delete those. And delete this on this side. And then we want to connect these vertices here. So we want to connect this to this, this to this, and this to a vertex that's probably hidden there, which we'll use our Alt-X trick so that we can see what we're doing. So let's connect this here. We'll connect this here, and we will connect this here, like that. Do the same thing on the other side. Just connect that back there. Connect this there. And we will connect this to this point here. And then press Alt-X to come back out of your transparent mode. And that should have connected your indented strip to the circle just fine. So that should be all of step 5. The next thing we want to do is to create the Pokeball button. So there's 2 ways you can do this. Both ways are completely valid and fine, and I'll show you both ways in the next step.